Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the One Meal channel. This very well might be the best video that you've clicked on today, and it could be the best channel that you have found today if you are new to the channel. And if you want to enjoy this video as much as I enjoy making them, then why don't you grab yourself a beverage? For me, it's either coffee or bone broth or an energy drink of sorts, and let's enjoy it together as we celebrate another day with the One Meal channel. 1, 2, and 3. That is good. That's incredibly good. All right. Well, this is an old grandmother recipe that I used to have as a kid. It was amazing having chicken and dumplings, a very simple recipe, and as most grandmotherly recipes, let's say, there really is no quantities or ingredients list. If you've watched the channel before, you know I really am not giving you the quantities of all the things that I put into my meals, but a grandmother would just always say you put in as much as you need. So I will give you an outline of everything that I will be using. I have some fresh made bone broth in here. I have some chicken that is already pre-cooked in here. I have 2 cans of cream of chicken and 2 cans of cream of celery. We're using 4 tablespoons of unsalted butter. We're going to use a medium onion, as well as some garlic powder, some poultry seasoning, and some parsley. We're going to combine all of this into this crock pot over here, set it on low, go to work for 8 hours, and then come back and finish it off with some half-baked dumplings, biscuits rather, and then put them into the top of the crock pot to finish off for another hour. Then we will consume a little bit of that meal at the end of our video and weigh it, because this is a One Meal channel. We don't only make one meal, we only eat one meal a day as well. So this is going to be really exciting for me. I'll give you one more little tidbit of information here. Typically, the way my grandmother would do it is she would take whole chicken breasts, uncooked, and put the uncooked chicken breasts into the base of this crock pot pan right here. I, on the other hand, I'm a chronic rotisserie chicken consumer, so we are going to use the contents of this rotisserie chicken and use it in this meal, which makes me think you probably don't need to spend 8 hours cooking this if your chicken is already cooked before you start the process. But what she would do is she would lay the uncooked chicken breast here at the bottom and let it cook on low for 8 hours until it had fully cooked through, and then she would bring 2 forks and she would shred all of that chicken into the chicken and dumplings, and that was a really good process. So if we ever make this again, we will try to make an authentic grandmother style recipe, but for the way that we're doing this today, we will do it with this pre-cooked chicken. And I'm a big fan of chicken skin. I'm a big fan of the imperfections of the chicken, the joints and the cartilage, because I think it all has really good vitamins and nutrients in it. I think it's all good for you. Whether or not that's true is to be decided by science. Science doesn't know. Don't look it up. Don't look it up. Science does know. I just haven't looked it up myself. But this is going to be kind of a by eye, by feel process. And that is a heck of a lot of chicken that we've put in there. But I think that will be plenty. This should be a relatively quick process. It's essentially just adding everything into the crock pot and letting it sit. We will mix everything up and we will call it good. So already we're off to a great start. Let's get this onion cut up. Next, we'll take some trash out after we are done. See, and I even did the prep work this time by taking all of the things that I needed and putting it out on the table, so I'm not wasting any of your time. So again, if this is going to be the best video that you've clicked on today, how can you accomplish that if I am not putting in my fair share of effort to have my maximum enjoyment as well? So let's get this diced up. If you're watching this video for the first time, or rather you're on the channel for the first time, if you want to know a little bit about me, I live with a roommate, and he is in the garage right now working on a project of his own. So if you hear some noise in the background, it will just add to the ambiance of the kitchen. So we have one rogue piece of onion right here. Just carefully bring this over here. And in the onion goes. Simple as that. Like I said, some butter will make a good addition. The chicken dumplings, it'll be used to help thicken up the broth that we put in. If you want to be smart, you should probably cut this up into small cubes, but since I am going to be leaving it in there unattended for 8 hours on some considerable heat, I doubt that putting that chunk in whole is going to be a problem. Next, and this is an important step, if I can struggle with the chicken over here, we have cans of goodness that need to be added. And this will also aid in the thickening process, because if you do not use these cans of chicken and cream of celery, you will have a very soupy chicken and dumplings. And that is not what you want. You can use any sort of, you don't have to be specific. I've seen people use cream of mushroom. If you like that type of stuff, you can absolutely do that. You can get creative. My grandmother had a system that she was consistent to every time that I was over at the house, but as I remember her telling me, that system did not start out that way. There was a lot of trial and error that went in to her recipes. One of the last times that I spoke to her, I asked her to tell me a story that I'd only heard partially. She's in her late 90s the last time I spoke to her. She told me that when she was 12 years old, she was out working at some sort of like granary, some sort of farm. She wasn't the one out in the fields working with the grain. The burly men that she told me she was with out there were working out there, but she got to cook for all of them. That was her job as a 12-year-old in America, is to cook for all of the hard workers and farmers that were out there in the fields. And her first time cooking, she didn't know what she was doing. So the farmers, after working a long, full day, maybe 12, maybe 14, maybe 16 hours, came in and were back behind the kitchen teaching her, showing her what to do. And after a couple of days, she got things down pat really well, and they said that she had some of the best cooking that they had ever had, that they really appreciated everything that she was doing. And one of the things that she made for those farmers was this meal. So I doubt that they had cans of cream of celery and cream of chicken sitting around, or, I don't think the Pillsbury Doughboy was a thing back then. But regardless, the origins of this recipe stem back nearly 100 years. And when the origins of that recipe do hit 100 years, I will still be making this, because this is an incredible treat. This is incredibly delicious. Like I said, I live with a roommate, so we will both consume of this and enjoy it, and it will last for multiple days. So you cannot go wrong with that. If you're going to have a crock pot of this size, we might as well use it to its full potential. If you have a smaller crock pot, half the recipe. If you have a larger crock pot, double the recipe. But 8 cans of cream of chicken and cream of celery sounds a bit excessive to me. So use your own discretion. You are all smart people. You know what you are capable of. Wow, doesn't that look so appetizing? Oh my gosh, so amazing. I could eat it right now. No, this is definitely the worst part of the meal so far. But just you wait. Allow the heat to apply itself, and things will improve. Now, I just used some fresh garlic on a recipe a couple of days ago. And if you want to put fresh garlic in, feel free to do so. There's nothing wrong with that. But we are looking for simple, convenient, and quick processing of this meal today. So we are going to use all of our seasonings and herbs in a powdered form. So I'm going to add this parsley, finish that off. If you want some chicken bouillon cubes instead of poultry seasoning, go with that, but this poultry seasoning will work just fine. She was big on the seasonings rather than the bouillon cubes or the minced garlic. And this, I've been looking forward to for quite a while. It's my homemade chicken stock that we use from the carcass of the rotisserie chicken that we have. We're going to try to put as much of this in here as we can without making a mess. Looks like we might even have some left over, which is great news for me. Oh no, we're going to use it all. We're going to use close to all of it. I'm a little nervous if I do use all of it, that this will get a little soupy. Better to put less in than more. And then stir this up. Stir it all together. And remember, you have dumplings that are going to go in here afterwards. Wow. That is looking good already. That is looking good already. Yeah, and this is a pretty big piece of dark meat, so I wouldn't recommend you doing what I'm doing right now, but since we're not using full chicken breasts here, I'm going to try to get the shredding done as much as I can early on. Yeah, that looks great. That looks fantastic. And that butter is just going to sit there looking awkward here in the middle. Fantastic. And that's basically it. So I do have just about a cup of chicken broth left that is ready to go in here. And I might still add it yet, but as you can see, it's a little bit soupy at the moment. We're going to wait until those dumplings go in near around the end of our process. Again, they only need to be in there for about an hour. When they go in at the end for about an hour, we'll decide whether or not we want to put that chicken broth in. So I hope we don't have to, because I haven't had chicken broth as a beverage for over a week. So I will come back in 8 hours after this is thoroughly cooked through and everything has been evenly warmed up. We will put these in the oven for about half the amount of time that they're supposed to be cooked for, because you still want them to be a little doughy and a little chewy, and then we will apply them to our chicken and dumplings. So until that time comes, let's have one more ceremonious sip. And I will see you all then.
Hi, Daph. Hi, Daph. Oh my goodness. Hello. What is this? What is this? Hi, Daph. Oh man, how does he not look at the camera? That's crazy. Oh, might have it angled a little bit too much as well. Okay, dog, consider yourself fooded. All right, how does he do his intros? Hi everyone, thanks for coming back to the channel. I'm the one meal, and I eat one, so one meal is just, I have one meal, and it's food, and that's what I eat for the day. So that's what I eat. Well, one meal. I am one drink. And today my drink of choice is Red Bull. So this is red, that's a color. Bull is the animal here. And then this is the 12 fluid ounce variety. So we're gonna go ahead and, if you listen carefully, here we go. Oh, baby, that was a good one. And then here we go, here's the money shot. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, lots of head on this one. Can I keep it going? Oh, spillage. Man, my first entry to the channel and I'm messing up royally. That's okay. We know how to clean up a mess. Oh, there we go. I'm not sure if this will be bonus content or if this will be its own video. I have not told him that I'm doing this. He's just going to see this when he opens up his GoPro. But he was super excited when he left the house today because he's got his chicken and soon-to-be dumplings going. And I can tell you, it smells phenomenal. So, anyways, there you go. That was the one drink, and I think he takes a sip afterwards. So, or he eats or whatever. So here we go. You ready? Okay, thanks. Bye. Have a beautiful time.
All right, and with the power of deceptive editing, no time has passed, but this is more cooked than it was before. I wanted to wait in order to get this filmed for you because the stir action is phenomenal. Excellent stir action right here. I think I'm going to add the rest of the chicken. It's already cooked, so having it warm up is not going to be a problem. So we have plenty of space in here to add more food. The oven is heating up at the moment. We shall be adding our dumplings inside of it. I will speak to you when we get closer to that process.
I'll wear a pair of pants 3 or 4 times, so that they're not, if they don't smell. Is that recording?
Yeah.
Great. Leave it.
Do you mind if I leave it in? Leave it. Perfect. All right, so after you're done wearing your pants 3 or 4 times, even though they don't smell, preheat your oven to 375 degrees and cook your biscuits for half of the designated time that the instructions tell them to cook. In my case, that's 13 minutes is how long they're supposed to be cooking. And so I'm gonna leave it in there for 6 or 7 or something like that, whatever half of that number is. So anyway, we have another step after that, and we'll show you that also in a minute. Okay, and we are back. So let's turn this off. Let's bring our quasi-finished biscuits into the fold. And as you can see, they have risen, they have formed slightly. They're also kind of doughy, and you can tell on the inside, and that's going to be really awesome. It's going to be really awesome. So let me grab a quick cutting board. And I've never, oh my goodness, seriously? Oh, that's great. Usually I have an issue with this, and when they come off, they stick to the bottom. But there's just enough oil in this that's not happening. Fantastic. Let me take this light, turn that off. And what we're going to do, now that we're at this stage of the process, is we're going to cut these into fourths, because these are kind of crazy biscuits to handle all at once. I mean, do what you want, but if you want this to fit into a spoon, you should probably cut it into little spoonful-sized pieces. So, and when I add this back into the crock pot, I took a look at the crock pot, and to be honest, it's soupier than I expected it to be. But the last time that I made the crock pot recipe, I departed from how my grandmother made it, and I added carrots, and I added celery, and I added, potatoes and other vegetables and things like that. And since we had just had that with surf meal a couple of days ago, I decided to make this, as faithful as an adaptation from my grandmother's recipe as I possibly could. So it's still going to taste good. It's still going to taste great. It's just not as thick as I usually have it. And you know what? That's not a problem. So take all of these pieces that you have right here. We're going to slowly layer them on. Hope you're getting a good view of that, people. That's going to be nice. And since it's doughy, it's naturally going to want to float to the top. There's no good way that I've found to be able to keep it at the bottom. I've even tried, putting vegetables on top of it and putting other things on top of it so it goes into the bottom. But when you serve, you're not going to have any issue getting some of these amazing dumplings in your servings. So I'm just going to make sure all of this is submerged so it has some of the broth on it. This is filled up nice to the top. I added that extra chicken earlier. And this is going to sit for however long we want it to sit. My grandma usually let it sit for an hour. It is quite late, and I don't think me or my roommate have eaten, so we might not wait that long, but we'll see. Bye. All right, it's time.
I don't want a huge. Yeah.
You don't want one of the mega bowls?
No.
You want some seasoning with that? Cajun?
You know me too well. Definitely. There's nothing for you over there. You don't. There's nothing for you. No. You ate. You did, and you had your TREAT. There's nothing left for you in that area. Nothing. Nothing over there for you. Good.
All right.
I just said over here, I want to burn myself.
We are recording.
Oh. Anyways.
We used our 2 up. We only get 2.
Sorry about that.
We're all good.
Now that I can't hear the beep.
Yeah, now that the GoPro isn't beeping. Gosh, you're gonna make me do so much editing now. Oh.
You don't know the half of it.
Oh no.
This smells so good.
I like it a little bit soupy this time. Yeah, this is a good change of pace.
I got some good chunks of dough too.
Good. Yeah, it all rises to the top, so it's kind of tough to miss it. There we go, and I got...
Whoa, I'm making a mess already.
This is awesome. And I guess before we get too far ahead of things, let's see what we got. £1.5 pounds. This is, say what, the weight?
Yeah.
1.5 pounds, almost to the dot.
Not bad.
Mm-hmm.
For a midnight snack.
Yeah, right? For me, this is going to be a super snack. Gosh, I am also on the verge of making a mess.
Yeah. Get in bed, please. Yeah.
Just curse at her again. That seemed to work good last time.
That's your spot.
I'm letting you know right now, that has amazing flavor. So when it cools down a little bit, you're going to be in for a treat. And that is my grandma's famous and favorite probably, chicken and dumplings recipe. I'm going to have a dumpling to go. Yeah, the dumpling's perfect. All right. Well, subscribe to the channel. Follow me on Instagram if you want. I'll see you tomorrow.